Moving on to our focus students, in my first placement, I had a student in my class who I knew could be successful and had so much potential. However, oftentimes, he would become very frustrated when he took longer on assignments than other students, and often expressed his anger or frustration through physical actions and trying to solve his problems with unacceptable behaviors. If I'm being honest, I remember making a judgment about his home situation, assuming that nobody cared about him and he was always going to be this way unless his parents became more involved in his education. My guide teacher and I reached out to his mom and asked what we could do when he would become very angry and lash out. Mom was very open and told us that his dad was not the best role model and oftentimes used physical and verbal violence to express his anger. I believe his home situation was unfortunate, but knew I still needed to hold him accountable, just as I did my other students. As time went on, I continued to make an extra effort to build a relationship with this student. Throughout tracking my interactions with the student, I began to realize my points of connection with my student would need to be through vulnerability and familiarity. I needed to let him see me as more than a teacher, but someone he could confide in. I needed to be an example of an adult portraying a calm demeanor even when he made a poor choice. My goal was for him to see me every day at school, consistently being there to support him, that eventually I became more familiar and it became the norm for him. I believe my mindset to hold all of my students accountable for their actions really helped me in this situation. I knew the student could learn how to correctly respond to and handle incidents, and that he also could achieve academic success.
In my first placement, I used the Points of Connection worksheet to capture the numerous interactions that I had with the student who I originally had trouble making a strong connection with. The student was often defiant and lashed out in anger when things didn't go his way. He would make rude comments towards his teachers, his classmates, and me. At first, I assumed that his home life was one where there were no consequences for his actions, and that he did not have supportive parents to help deal with this anger that he so often had. After meeting his mom through parent-teacher conferences, I realized that my assumption was very inaccurate, and that he did have a loving and supportive parent at home. However, I also learned that this student experienced a lot of hardships growing up, and has had to deal with a lot of trauma in his life. Learning about this student's past really changed my perspective about his situation, and really made me determined to create a strong and trusting relationship with him that I knew he needed. Every day I would try and connect with the student about things that I knew he was interested in, such as football and other sports. I would tell him some things about myself and about things that I enjoyed, so he felt as though he could relate to me and see me more than just an authoritative figure. Starting off with just simple conversations really is how our relationship started, and it slowly started to become stronger over time, and I could see the trust beginning to form. I wanted the student to feel as though he could trust me and come to me in a time of need. By the end of my time in the classroom, I really felt that I had a strong relationship with the student, and I believe that he truly felt that he could trust me. This experience really allowed me to see that you cannot make assumptions about a student and his or her home life, because you never know what a student has gone or goes through.